UK mum stabs pedophile to death after he abused her kids. There was a case in Texas about 10 years ago where a rancher caught one of his ranch hands molesting his 4-year-old daughter in the most vile way. The rancher beat the ranch hand to death. He was arrested, but the prosecutor refused to charge him because he knew that no jury would convict a father under the circumstances. Fucking 24 convictions and still not only out and about to commit another crime for which he was awaiting trial but also allowed bail? 24 times. JFC. It's still surprising that people with heinous crimes are allowed to change their names. 7 years away for stabbing to death a pedo that touched my kids? I'd take it. If only there's some kind of clue or red flag that we could have known that would tell us that this person would abuse a kid. Too bad there was nothing. If there was, then the government would be 1,000% responsible for letting this person free despite these people almost always reoffending. A person I knew very well, grew up in an impoverished country, and the only running water and showers were communal. My friend was raped as a young boy by a man in the communal shower. He was able to escape, ran home and told his mother. The mother grabbed a knife from the kitchen, ran out into the neighborhood and found the pedophile. Without hesitation, she plunged the knife into his abdomen and walked away. None of the witnesses named her and she was never charged. This was 50 years ago. Proper sentence is time served. What a sad situation for the children. She was given 7.5 years. Frankly, that's too much. Can't really blame the mother. Not sure I wouldn't have done the same. It's chilling to think of the many kids he surely abused between his last conviction and his death. Ms. Sands was convicted of manslaughter on the basis of loss of control after an Old Bailey trial in 2015, and eventually jailed for 7.5 years after having her sentence increased by the Court of Appeal. Should have been no time. The pedophile she killed was 77 and a pedophile. 24 offenses? I got summoned to court when counsel decides that me, a student, owe them taxes. FFS. I'm sorry, I know people don't like capital punishment, but reoffenders like this with 24 counts just won't and have shown they cannot be rehabilitated nor fit into society, and so it's either death or lifelong incarceration. I saw UK at the beginning and knew she was gonna get time. Hero mom does her job. Yeah, I don't think she should be in prison or charged. There are dangers to vigilante justice, and taking the law into your own hands like this isn't something be encouraged or applauded. Far too easy for things to get out of control. Having said that, it's hard to condemn her. Her response is understandable. I can only imagine the anger and horror she must have felt when her children told her what had happened. That's the old man from Family Guy. I hate to see that she is doing time. This is the fault of the system that allowed a convicted sex offender to live inside of a school with a clean record. Nobody knew who he was. She should sue. Based on how many times this happened, he would have done this again for sure. The justice system failed horribly to protect these children, so she took matters into her own hands. Sometimes the justice system fails and people have to take matters into their own hands. I'm not condoning vigilantism, but at the same time I'd look the other way and forgot I saw anything if someone deservedly got punished. Don't blame her, at all. She did nothing wrong. Now, I ain't saying I agree with what was done. But I do understand. I saw Nathan. Sounds like he fell on the knife a bunch of times. The guy's gotta be more careful, man. Shrugging. 100 kill. 50 melee. 25 morality. Give her 7 years of probation. She did good. I'm not saying she's right, I'm saying I get it. Funny how Reddit is super against the death penalty, but pro-vigilante justice like this. I didn't see anything. Did any of you see anything? Since I didn't see anything and I don't know of anyone else who saw anything, if I'm on that jury, I suppose I can only vote not guilty. Funny how that happens. Jail time can be life-ruining, but knowing that mofo is dead AF, priceless. My kid, although a victim, will not have to fear that a hole again. The UK failed this woman and her kids, and she's not guilty of anything other than doing exactly what we would expect her to do, nothing less. Perv looking like Herbert from Family Guy. Good riddance. So yeah, it's based as fuck to defend your children. Maybe don't kill people, but no tears here. The problem here is, I'm scared that the narrative will be, yeah, it's cool to kill pedophiles. Unfortunately, a solid 15% of America alone believes all LGBTQ people are intrinsically attracted to children. For once I liked us justice system. For many similar cases even in states like California, this hero mom would walk free. Thanks UMGD109 for being the only rational being in a mob of bloodthirsty people. I'm sure glad the justice system is not controlled by Redditors and general opinions. Give her a medal at a parade, military medal. Would do the same, even though murder is wrong, man shrugging. This is one of those instances where the court should have just said thank you and let her off. Only words out of the judge's mouth should be, I'll allow it. I feel like finding out someone molested your kids could potentially qualify someone as not being in a sound state of mind, so attacking the perpetrator shouldn't count against them in a lot of cases. I'd like to hear all the evidence against the mom first obviously, but you better believe it better be compelling or I'd vote to let her go. Checks notes. Killed pedophile who abused your kids? Justified homicide. Well, these old glasses must be dirty because I didn't see a thing. UFC fighter also went down because he attacked the guy who was molesting his family member. Lucky judge just granted him bail. I keep thinking there's typos in the headline, but then remember that UK English spells words differently than American English. She deserves a knighthood, but the royal family probably disagrees. Chamos have the hardest time locked up, so maybe Chamo killers have the easiest time of all inmates. Too bad mom had to serve time. Given the situation, she should have gotten a standing ovation from the jury. Seriously, what's the problem? She did a public service. The judge that let that pedo change his name should be locked up with the rapists and molesters. So we all agree cause of death was natural causes. There should be a law that if you are convicted of being a sex offender, that you get branded on the forehead indicating such. A sex offender that changed his name to conceal his past then continued his vile crimes against children was stabbed to death. Oh no. I personally as a father don't think that a pedophile with 24 convictions deserves to be alive. However, I can understand that certain people feel otherwise, so I'd accept life in prison as an alternative. But how this guy makes it out of prison to live next to a family is absolute insanity. Fuck pedos and fuck the justice system. Victims of these crimes deserve the security and peace of mind of knowing that their assailants will never be able to harm them or anyone else again. Cool motive, still murder. The main problem here is that you can just change your name and there not be any record of it. Pretty much anywhere asks if you've been known by any other name, especially security-based checks. This does sound like a UK mom. Probably gentle as a doe till he touched her child. So she gets a medal and a big plate of pancakes?